said that you, prior, right, to podcast, you said you wanted to be a Marine because you liked that they had a good boxing program.
Yeah, Brian couldn't find any other way to box, so he decided to go to the Marines.
That was the best way, man.
That's it. So what led you, like, was there a moment where, I mean, take us through that decision too, because that's a huge life-altering or path-changing decision where being a kid, right, maybe your mentality isn't fully conscious of what the world has to offer and what you're actually doing and what mindset you live based off of what other people live and, like, what the Marines are and how hard that actually is, right? And it's like, I just want to box, so I'm going to pick one of the hardest, most structured ways of life to give me access to that, right? But you also inherently have that structure and that kind of will of discipline through your childhood because of your father and because of that progression of you becoming a boxer, right? And having to train and having to follow these disciplines, right? So where was what was that transition of going to the Marines for yourself? Like mentally, physically, right? Like what was that like for you?
I think there's an element of this concept that ignorance is bliss, right? We do stuff without fully knowing to the extent that's what's gonna happen. So we jump ahead and then we realize as we're doing it, oh, this is pretty intense. So that was, to an extent, that mentality applied there. I had concepts of what a Marine is and like all these different things. I saw it from a particular point of view, which was the boxing team, right? So I started boxing when I was 12 years old, and then the Marine Corps would come every once in a while to our boxing gym, right? So we sparred with them, and it was just fascinating. I was completely enchanted, especially at the time being a young kid, growing up with this part of life, which is like sports and all these different things. They played, like, just seeing like these guys, wearing their uniforms, coming in super clean. It was like, wow, that's what I want. So after talking to my coaches, my plan was to become a professional boxer at the time. So after talking to my coaches, we're thinking of, going pro at the age of 21, 22. And then the Marine Corps was like a phenomenal approach to that.
Okay.
I saw it as a perfect opportunity to develop my discipline, develop all these different skills as my character, as a person, and then applying that into the boxing world. And then going from there to a professional boxer. Obviously, things didn't happen that way. There was budget cuts, and as soon as I got into the Marine Corps, I had no choice but to stick with the job that I was assigned for, which I'm extremely glad it happened that way. It worked out super well.
We appreciate the time you spent with the Marines.